Hi everybody, it's Violet Kitty. The other night I was watching a video by one of my favorite Christian bloggers, Bondservant40. And she was sharing her heart, how she was grieved seeing that many of the Christian bloggers here on YouTube had lost sight of the blessing that this platform called YouTube is. Their initial passion to share the gospel had been replaced by an arrogance in getting caught up in their YouTube personas. And she said that it seemed to be at the magic number of 1,000 to 1,500 subscribers. So when I saw this, I was horrified that perhaps I might be one of those people that she saw that in. Because a person who is arrogant usually isn't aware that they're arrogant. So I immediately messaged her and asked her if I was one, and she assured me that no, I was not one that she had seen this in. And I'm sure there's people out there who believe that I'm arrogant. I've definitely seen it in comments. Of course, you know, I'm the person who is so incredibly shy, and I've unsubscribed people. I've considered closing my account on multiple occasions, much more than the 2 times that I've done it, because this platform, it scares me. It really does. I was not intended as a person to be well known. Anyway, I really delved into this study on humility. And I hope that you receive it in the spirit that I'm offering it. Most of this is not my own work. This is actually out of a study Bible of mine. How does God respond to the humble? Psalm 25:9. He leads the humble in what is right, teaching them his way. You see, this means that humility means acknowledging our proper place before the Lord. When we humbly worship him, he will lead us and teach us the right way to live. This says we have to humble ourselves before him. Psalm 149:4. The Lord delights in his people. He crowns the humble with salvation. Matthew 23:12. Those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. Psalm 18:27. You rescue those who are humble, but you humiliate the proud. Psalm 138:6. Though the Lord is great, he cares for the humble, but he keeps his distance from the proud. Matthew 18:4. Anyone who becomes as humble as this little child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Now what this teaching is telling me is that the less we try to honor ourselves, the more God honors and blesses us. Pride builds barriers that keep God out of our lives. Humility opens the way for God to work because we are more willing to seek God's help and honor him for helping us. Next, we have to ask the question, how does humility help me confront sin and evil? James 4 verses 6 to 10. He gives us more and more strength to stand against such evil desires. As the scriptures say, God sets himself against the proud, but he shows favors to those who are humble. So humble yourselves before God. Resist the devil and he will flee from you. Draw close to God and God will draw close to you. Wash your hands, you sinners. Purify your hearts, you hypocrites. Let there be tears for the wrong things you have done. Let there be sorrow and deep grief. Let there be sadness instead of laughter and gloom instead of joy. When you bow down before the Lord and admit your dependence on him, he will lift you up and give you honor. This actually kind of goes back to my happiness the other day, is that he wants us to understand the depth of our sin. You see, pride gives the devil a key to our lives. Humility changes the lock and gives God the key. Humility comes from godly sorrow for our sin. We openly admit that we need God and seek His forgiveness, and no proud person can do this. So now we ask, how can humility help me in times of trouble? 1 Peter chapter 5, verses 6 and 7. Humble yourselves under the mighty power of God, and in His good time He will honor you. Give all your worry and cares to God, for He cares about what happens to you. Daniel 10, verse 12. He said, don't be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day you began to pray for understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your request has been heard in heaven. I have come to answer your prayer. You see, the answer to all our problems is actually found in God's power and might, not in our own abilities and resources. God hears and answers the prayers of the humble. Isaiah 29:19. The humble will be filled with fresh joy from the Lord. Those who are poor will rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. Isaiah 57:15. The high and lofty one who inhabits eternity, the Holy One, says this, I live in that high and holy place with those whose spirits are contrite and humble. I refresh the humble and give new courage to those with repentant hearts. When we turn to the Lord in humility, we find joy and refreshment. We no longer suffer the burden of prideful expectations and loneliness. The Lord offers to carry our burdens for us, and we offer Him our gratitude. Like I said, this was not my own study. It's one that I came across, and I'm really glad that I did. I've been given a wonderful platform here on YouTube. I have made videos sharing my ideas and my thoughts. But it's really important that I share this. And it's important that I do so with a humble heart, because you see, I wasn't intended to be popular. I'm not good at it. I wasn't meant to be. Frankly, crowds kind of terrify me. And I really feel like God gave me this platform to be a mouthpiece. I'm not the most evangelistic person. I'm definitely not confrontational in my faith. I would rather show people love and humility than pride and arrogance. Christ was humble. On the night He was betrayed, one of the things He did was He washed the feet of the 12. That's lowly. That was the job given to the lowliest servant of the household, washing the feet. Are you humble enough to be a servant to others? And that's all I have to say. BK out.